be. This is going to be a ridiculous video, but I figured I'd just make the video so you could take a look at this and see the style and what we're doing and be able to crush through a bunch of these. The big thing is right now is taking all of the latest designs and formatting them into this sort of like wanted poster that we're doing to put all the avatars on that we're going to send out to people so that they can post them on their Facebook pages and then also use them as their avatars, hopefully. So the first one I have here, which I was going to show you, is the Mike Viney one. So I'm writing the instructions on here, just on one general tab here, which is just make a few avatar pages, although everything's going to come up individually. But the thing I was going to say is that here's the general naming convention, and you'll always want to save something as a PSD and a JPEG when you put it back into Asana, and also, let's say also when you put them into the FU Friends folder when you're done. So just so you know what the naming convention is, it's basically this 009 being the first 3 digits, you know, basically whatever the character number is in their order, you know, because we have like up to 150 or whatever. Then it's going to be, you know, first name, last name, then FU, which is just the show. Then just version and then the artist. So in this case, a lot of these you'll be pulling down, and say you pull down a version 4, you'll name it a version 5 and then put jo.psd, you know, save that to your desktop, and then also save a JPEG and then put those both into Asana. And the reason why I say put a JPEG and a PSD is because the JPEG is viewable in Asana, so anytime we look through stuff, you can always see that. So this is basically going to be the final design. It's going to be the FU, then the person's name, friend us underneath, and then basically the website and the hashtag, and just basically doing that so people put these up, it's very clear, like, oh, cool, whoa, boom, and then go see the site and stuff and be like, oh, wow, okay, you know, supported this project, and that's cool. So, yeah, so this is the thing. Yeah, so this is what we need to do, but everything right now is still formatted in the old style, so we need to change these over, basically update them. And the big thing we want with all these, just so that they're all custom, is every time we make a new version of the border is rotate it once to the left or right, and just constantly just be varying it so that they're not all the same, because ultimately they're all going to go here on the website, www.makefriendus. I think it's just make.friendus.org, and the FU founders page is going to have all the avatars of everybody. It should. Oh, great. What? Now it's not even opening. Bastards! We were so close. Anyway, all right, disregard that. But we just want them all to, when they're all lined up next to each other, each one looking like it has a different border. So that is going to be the thing with that. Where is, did I put it? Okay. My Viney Photoshop file. Photoshop. Okay, so I need to get one for you. So basically, I'll assign the next one to you. Everything here is in Make You FU Friends, and these are all, you know, the done ones. So let's see, she still has to paint these 2 characters. Oh, she's already painted him, so you can now prep this one, and I'll show you how to do it. So basically, I'm going to download the PSD, which is going to download. I don't need the JPEG. At the same time, you're going to want to have probably open the Mike Viney template, because that one already has everything set up, so it's probably easiest just to import stuff into there, because it's already set up with the right proportions and everything. So make the FU avatars page. So this is this. I'm going to download this one too. This is the Chris Dotson one. Okay, so this is this. Now this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up the Viney one as soon as that's done. Right, so this one's already set up. We are are going to do, okay, so this is the Mike Viney one. So I'll just save this one now as the next one, which is going to be, so save as. But I'm going to look on here on the Chris Dotson one and see what the last one is I downloaded, because basically we downloaded, she didn't name it. So the thing is, some of the artists haven't been naming it, so I just go back to the one before that. So this was version 1, then in theory Naira's would be version 2, so the next one's going to be version 3. So this is Chris Dotson, FU version 3, and then your thing. So so I am going to just, let's see, I'm going to just retype it. Okay, so it's 115 underscore Chris underscore Dotson, Dotson, FU version 3, FU underscore VO3. All right, so save that. Save this to the desktop just while we work on it. So boom. Okay, so now this in theory is the Chris Dotson one. So just to update it, I will click on it and just take this Chris Dotson. Cool. Now the other picture's in here. So if you click, if you see the layers here, history, where did my layers go? View layers. The way I organized everything in here is basically a top layer, which is the text, which is basically the person's name, any of these FU logos and stuff like that. So if you see, if I turn that off, all that stuff is off, so that's in a folder. The character is in another folder. It's actually, that border should be in there too. Why isn't that in there? Oh, because that's the reference one I made. Okay, so that's in there. So yeah, basically the character is in one, the text is in another folder, and then there's another folder which is reference, which is just basically the border. I mean, basically I took, you know, if you turn those off, I have just a border in the reference folder in case there's anything. And the main thing is with the borders, you know, when you're doing one, I just switch it up every once in a while. I mean, if you are doing them in order and you can keep track, it would be nice to, hold on a sec. Hello, are you back? Okay, good. Yes. Okay, so I was just tweaking something. Okay, so on here you'll see this. I think the first thing I would do is see the color overlay. That is, I have two borders on here by accident. The color overlay, that's the color. I mean, right now I just have it set up where I just double click that and you can just do select color. That way it's just, for now, I think it's just a little easier. So select color. I'm going to choose something from the other one because this has already been like color selected from his palette. So, yeah, I mean, you should probably look at Adam. Now, this actually is probably better to do after you place the character, so let's do that because I'd like to be able to see his colors against this. Okay, cancel. Okay, so let's take Chris Dotson first. You're going to need to bring his paint layer and his line work. So let's see, so that's that, and there, so that's that, and then there's his paint. Cool. So take those two, keep them separate, but you can bring them together. Those two should be just what we need. All right, cool. Yeah. So that's cool. So we got that. We're going to turn off Mike Viney. You want to position them so they're about the same. I'm going to need to enlarge them a little on this page, just because it's formatted a little larger. So I'm going to do that. What I've been doing is basically making them so their hair sticks out a little bit. I just think that looks really rad. but we don't want to do too much because the more we do of it, the more it's going to be tricky to mat it and stuff. Because right now the mat's actually, you can see, actually another one's on, but I'm going to take that. So in place of that, now we're going to need to erase the border on Chris, because see his border is built into his to himself there. Where is this coming from? Border copy to, oh, the reference was on. Oh, okay, that's why. All right, so we need to go into there, and we're going to need to just erase this border from there. So I am going to do it like this. You know, I mean, we want to keep as much of him as we can. So wait a second, let's select inverse. Swear I've used Photoshop before. I'm gonna just do, oh, I wasn't on the right layer. Okay, so here we go, I'm on that layer. I'm going to select inverse and just delete it. So that's the first thing. So, okay, that's cool. Yay. But now we want the border. And the thing is with the border is it's been matted from Viney's version. So here's the, so this one's actually, that's been cut. This is why we got this border, or this border. Let's get rid of this one first. Okay, yeah, you know, that's not supposed to go there. Is this the border? Yeah, let's use that. And the reference border. Border coming from? Which border is this? Characters, border copy. Oh. Had a color overlay on it. Okay, well I'm getting, okay, yeah, we're gonna use that one. And that's actually the reason, okay, yeah, that was his. Okay, so Chris is on. Now this has a matte, so if you paint on this with white, it should just delete it. And if you paint on it with the other color, it should reveal it. And so in this case, we should be seeing it there. Nope, we're gonna be able to get rid of this guy now. Don't need him. Where did his slide work go? Did I lose it? Did I throw it out? Oops. I did. Bastards. Okay. I mean, the big thing I was checking here is just kind of the eyes, you know. So he's a little bit bigger, but that's cool. Because his hair is going to be way too big, so we don't want it to go too big, so we're just going to leave him like that. But now you're on the border copy, you can see it here. I'm going to zoom in to mat this. Click on the border. Oops, so see that's making the border come back. I'm going to switch it and make it go away, except for places where his hair is not. Also, when you're doing this, if you notice any places aren't painted, that should be the border there. Okay, cool. If you notice anything's not painted, you know, feel free to just fill those in. I can notice something there, there. Cool. Rad. Cool. Rad. That's it. Boom. So he is kind of almost done. Actually, there you can see that's not filled. So we'll just do a little touch up on that. I mean, the key is we gotta get these all done, so you can't go nuts over them. But if you see little things that you can tweak, feel free to do it. Just notice that line. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but you know, I mean, we want them to look like they're right, so yeah, so that's that. And notice a little bit out there, so but you know, they're not perfect. It's animation. So anyway, all right. So there's that. We need to update his name to the right name. So his name is Chris Dotson. Right. All right. Cool. So now his color for the background. That's why I have this just as an overlay, because we can just double click this. Double click that and just suck up a color from, will it do that? Oh, hold on, all right, so double click, get a color overlay. My guy's over here, but I can see. Yeah, just find something that looks good with them. I mean, we're going kind of bright. Cool. So that is that. We were going to use the textures, but Jimmy said it would match. These would match better since the main characters don't have these. It would look better with them just having the flat style too. So I'm a little bummed out about it, but I think at the end of the day it'll be easier, at least for now. So who knows, if we get crazy, maybe we can do that later. But that looks great. Boom. So he is done. I'm going to save this as file save as. That's already been saved as the right name. So Chris Dotson, but I'll also save a JPEG. File save as. I mean, the big thing is also just check here when you're done. You know, we don't necessarily need the Mike Viney layer, so get rid of that. But it could just be basically, you know, the reference the borders in there in case you need a border or anything gets screwed up or, you know, whatever. Let's see. That's another border I have in there that we don't need. And that is it. Boom. That looks good. I think people post these and they can suck them out. Actually, I can see something in there, so just definitely like check them out. And I think it's in the... Nope. This little thing, that's cool. That doesn't bother me. That looks cool. That's kind of like the style. It's supposed to be like the scratchy, you know, drawn line, whatever. Oh, there. Saw a little bit of this here. But that's it from today's lesson. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so save, file save as JPEG, Photoshop and a JPEG to the desktop. Boom. So now these two files are here. Chris Dotson, your version with that, and the other one, and that has all the right information. And I'm going to go open back up Asana and go to Subversion of And if you lose something, the cool thing is, you know, I just have this up here, so you can just do like 115 and all the tasks with that. Oh, 115. Oh, he's not 115. See, this is why it's good. But we can also look up Chris Dotson. Chris Dotson, 105. See, so that's great. So that's in the paint, which actually right now would be assigned to you. Set up Chris Dotson. Boom, that's the one where we got this file from. I change that to you for a sec. Just in theory, Jesse OB. Where are you? I don't know, just type it in here. So, Brian, take these two, drag them over. You'll see that they are uploading there. And then once that's done, just assign it back to me, and I will know that it needs to be checked and sent out. Also take a version of this and save it in the FU Friends. So we should have a folder for Chris Dotson 105, which actually I need to, oh fuck. See, I just screwed it up already. I gotta make sure this is number 105. This is why we're artists, right? Because we're terrible with numbers. Okay, so now they're both named 105, right? In here, we should have a 105, Chris Dotson. Actually, I can see that there's two. There's one there, too, so I'm going to just dump that one. Because it should be labeled 105, because that way we can always go to this folder when we need it. This is kind of like the master one, and obviously all the references in there. So you can put those two in there, and then there should be a subfolder. Actually, no, we had a subfolder before, but, you know, it's probably time to put those back in. So that'll just be ref or reference. Just so if we're ever looking for this or doing anything, we always have this sort of like backup or whatever. So reference, boom. That is that. And now Chris Dotson will be uploaded in there. PSD, it's 9 megs. The JPEG is that. And yes, rock and roll. So if you could set up the rest of those, there's probably going to be like 100 to do. And we need to just start sending them out. Hopefully once you get into the swing of it, it should go. But try to get through the ones you can. The most important ones to go through are all the people that are in the FU workflow, because those would be painted and put into that workflow for that graphic. So if you can, I'll start assigning those to you in order. So if you can just like hammer through those as you get them. And then once you're done, assign it to me. I'll be able to just take a final look at it and just get them ready to send out to people. Cool. That's the instructions for that.